Good day, everyone. Even though the outlook on the horizon doesn't look good, there's nothing ever stopping us from enjoying this everlasting moment in time. Today's article is from The Guardian. European gas shortages likely to last several winters, says Shell chief.
Warning raises prospect of continued rationing as Total Boss says Europe has to plan for future without Russian supplies. Gas shortages across Europe are likely to last for several winters to come, the chief executive of Shell has said, raising the prospect of continued energy rationing as governments across the continent push to develop alternative supplies. Cuts to the supply of Russian gas since the invasion of Ukraine have plunged European countries into a devastating energy crisis, driving up wholesale prices to leave consumers facing huge bills and the highest rates of inflation since the 1980s. Speaking at a press conference in Norway on Monday, Ben van Beurden said that the situation could persist for several years.
It may well be that we will have a number of winters where we have to somehow find solutions.
Van Beurden said solutions to the energy crisis would have to be found through
efficiency savings, through rationing and a very, very quick build-out of alternatives. That this is going to be somehow easy, or over, I think is a fantasy that we should put aside.
His comments come as Europe's biggest economies brace for a tough winter of soaring inflation and the threat of recession as record increases in gas and electricity bills pile pressure on households and businesses across the continent. Russia, the major supplier of gas to most of the EU before the war in Ukraine, has throttled exports in response to Western sanctions imposed since Putin's invasion 6 months ago. While not all the EU countries are directly reliant on Russian supplies, competition for scarce resources has pushed wholesale European gas prices up by a factor of 12 compared with a year ago. Britain sources little of its gas directly from Russia, although is exposed to soaring prices on the wholesale market. Liz Truss, who's likely to be the next British Prime Minister, has so far refused to spell out what that help she would give to households as the price cap on energy bills jumps 80% to £3,549 a year from October. Speaking on Monday, the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said a package of emergency measures would be unveiled soon. Speaking in Slovenia as EU officials work on a plan, which could be announced as early as this week, von der Leyen said emergency interventions would be introduced in addition to longer-term energy market reforms.
Skyrocketing electricity prices are now exposing, for different reasons, the limitations of our current electricity market design.
The French minister, Elisabeth Borne, warned companies that energy could be rationed this winter, while Belgium's energy minister said the next 5 to 10 years could be difficult. Speaking alongside the Shell chief executive in Norway, the head of another energy company, Total Energy's Patrick Pouyanné, said Europe's governments and policymakers would have to plan for a future without Russian gas. European gas prices have soared in recent weeks, reaching almost €350 a megawatt hour last week as countries rush to build up supplies before the winter. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday accused Russia of economic terror by trying to cut gas supplies to Europe.
It is exerting pressure with price crisis, with poverty, to weaken Europe.
Maintenance work is expected to take place this week by Russian state-owned company Gazprom on the Nord Stream 1 pipeline that links Russia and Germany via the Baltic Sea, complicating efforts to fill up gas storage sites. Wholesale gas prices fell back on Monday after Germany's economy minister said he expected the country's storage to be 85% full next month. However, prices still remain more than triple the level at the start of this year. Wholesale gas prices fell back on Monday after Germany's economy minister said he expected the country's storage to be 85% full next month. However, prices still remain more than triple the level at the start of this year. Soaring energy prices have helped oil and gas companies to record bumper profits, prompting demands for windfall taxes to help finance emergency support for struggling households and businesses. Shell made record profits of nearly €10 billion between April and June and promised to give shareholders dividends worth $6.5 billion.
If you ask me, this seems very suspicious. Is Is it a coincidence that all the mega corporations this decade have been making record profits while the wage disparity grows bigger? Ever since that little incident in Wuhan happened, the small and medium companies have been going out of business. Now, since the war began, coincidentally, all these energy suppliers have been getting a windfall of money and only looks to be growing exponentially as the rest of us are made to suffer. This trend seems like it's going to continue this decade, so let me make a prediction. The next global catastrophe will once again profit the few by continuing to transfer our wealth to the mega corporations. You think I'm right or wrong? Let me know down below. Since most don't subscribe or like my videos, maybe you can share it. One can only hope. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow.